First of all, let me give my greetings to all the civil servants serving as well as retired, and all those others who have are attending this event on the occasion of National Civil Services Day. So it's I think it's a privilege and an opportunity to be in the civil service, and I have been fortunate to have worked under great people in my career, including, of course, Sri Hanuman Chaudhary Garu. And whatever I seem to have done or contributed is a result of such guidance and support. So on the occasion of the Civil Services Day, I think I place it on record. The topic is about what can technology do to improve the delivery of public services. So I made just a few slides to explain my experience in this space over the last especially 2.5 decades. So I hope Chandrasekhar, you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. It's very clear.
Yeah. So I'm calling it making a difference, because unless you make a difference, technology is a waste of resource and time and money. Second aspect is not only making a difference, but creating innovation in the delivery of new type of services and delivered in a different way is key to the whole thing. So let me more or less, I was following IT all along my service to the point that, some people doubt whether I am in the IAS or some Indian IT service or something like that. So besides that, let me just show the kind of evolution that the public service delivery, the impact of technology on public service delivery over the last 3 to 4 decades. I've been watching it at close quarters, so I thought it's appropriate on this occasion of National Civil Services Day to just recount in a minute. So initially, it started with small computers, and then for internal efficiency of the government, it was used like in the banks and a few government offices. And then the concept of e-governance, where citizen centricity is citizenity. That means citizen is at the center of thing and what is useful to citizen. Next, when the mobiles came on the scene, m-governance, add to the convenience. Then later, the concept of digital transformation. How do you totally change the landscape altogether through innovation and enterprise IT, enterprise architectures. Now, in the current decade, it is the question of agile governance and a lot of emerging technologies, new technologies which have come on the scene. And then the trajectory is, could be very interesting. Like in future, we may have invisible government and visible governance, and ultimately, in the subsequent decades, maybe invisible governance. Total citizen is on its own totally, and there is no touch and feel at all the government. But government does what it has to do, But we are as far into the future and hope that some of us will be able to see that situation. So I have been lucky enough to be, following this kind of a trajectory in my own career over these years. Then this is a list of all the projects that I have been associated with over these years. I've just kept it as a roadmap, starting from the time when the PC, a small PC XT and PC AT was that is the best that we could have and were in the districts. Onwards, client server system where servers came on the scene, and the this thing expanded, reach expanded, and then on to the internet age, where all kinds of services began to be given on the internet, over the internet. And then, of course, as mentioned by Dr. Chaudhary, well before, the mobile, most of the services today are available on the mobile situation. And on to it, we are going to the era of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other emerging technologies. So my singular luck has been that right from PC XT days to these days of supercomputers and artificial intelligence have been. And I have listed here in green and red the kind of projects that I have personally supervised and implemented in my career. And it's a question of, when there is a challenge, there's also an opportunity. So those opportunities need to be seen and done. And some of the projects at the state level and at national level, I have been able to contribute to. Like, for instance, e-Seva, Passport Seva, Mi-Seva, e-Thal, and health blueprint for the whole country, and PM Jan Arogya Yojana, and Aadhaar Seva Kendras to make Aadhaar services reachable to the common man, and so on. So this is the kind of a journey I went through. And on the left, you see the logos of some of the projects that I'm proudly associated with. So having said that, what are the lessons for us? I have not taken a particular case study because there are so many cases, so many projects. But what is the boiled wisdom out of those projects? I have just summarized that in one slide, which is that e-governance is not about E, but about governance. Technology or E part of it is the secondary. The first thing is, look at, how is your house in order first? Look at what are the problem areas, what are the areas for improvement, what are the areas for innovation. So it's about governance. Then you put a technology layer on top of that, it will be really good. The second aspect is, do not translate the existing process, but transform them. That is, the easiest temptation is take an existing set of forms and rules and acts and then convert them to a software language and push it to the computer and deliver. This used to happen. In fact, most of the early projects that I was associated with and several people of that time who are doing were of this type, that you translate rather than transform. You change, look at fundamental transformation of that sector, and then computerization will add value or e-governance will add value. Third is citizen value is of maximum importance. If you have so many other factors, the top factor that you need to consider, the deciding factor is it adding value? If so, how much value is it adding to the citizen? Then scalability and sustainability, we see pilots, but that's not unless they're built to scale and built to sustain financially and organizationally, we'll see the fall of so many projects. That's another lesson that we learned, that you build scalability and sustainability at the early stage of the project design itself. Building capacities and competencies at various levels is important to see leverage the best benefit out of technology. And to create innovative. Some of the projects became successful because of such people who stood like a rock with their own knowledge. They innovated and really made those projects success. Last but not least is think big, start small, and scale fast. It's very important that while our vision should be really very large, if we try to that's very important, so that your design is keeping that big vision in view, and then you start small and then build it in a scalable manner so that it extends to the whole state or to the whole country eventually. Most of the projects that I have displayed in the previous slides followed, most of them, the successful ones followed all these principles. So I just wanted to share some kind of the experience out of these. I want to just show you a glimpse of what is the size of the impact. What is the difference that technology is making in this whole country? In one touch of a button, I'll just open this slide, and you can also review it later. I need to stop sharing and then again reshare it once I just permit me to do that. So it's a very interesting canvas here that you have got. I'll just show that and then close my talk. Yeah. Yeah, you can just see the whole country at fingertips. I hope, Chandrasekhar, you are able to see
yes,
e-Thal. Yeah. So this is one of the projects I just kind of I'm proud of this project, which was done in 2012, just to see what's happening, what is the impact, what's the benefit that people are getting. You can see the real-time count of all the transactions, digital transactions happening. 4,000 odd, 4,021 services, the result of that is available here. 35 billion transactions 1st of January and 2 billions in this current month with just a week to go. So you can see all kinds of things. What are the services which people are taking, and what are the trends, which are the states, which are the ministries which are really doing well. Everything is available on the, so all the 4,000 services, you can access it, any of them, any state, any kind of land record service, health service, whatever, birth and death, recording, etc. So you can avail, from the service directory. Hanuman Chaudhary was mentioning about some RTI directory. Similarly, we have a service directory for the whole country, whatever is electronic. In 3 buttons, you can reach that particular state, that particular service. So you can see it's moving in real time with 20-second latency from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. All the public services that are delivered are reflected on this screen within 20 seconds to maximum 1 minute across the whole country. So I just wanted to show this as a example of what is happening in the whole country. Finally, let me conclude by saying that one little thing, what is going to be in the future. I just wanted to spend a minute on that and conclude. So the emerging trends in the public service delivery and the kind of IT innovations are happening. The thinking has gone now from systems to ecosystems, a higher level of thinking, that not only that the government has to deliver, there's a public sector, there's a private sector, there's an NGO, there is civil society, delivering in the same education sector or agriculture sector or health sector. So how do you create an ecosystem? How do you conceptualize an ecosystem? How do you enable rather than try to build everything yourself? The second concept, second trend is from IT to ET. It can be interpreted as IT to emerging technologies like AI and ML and IoT and other new technologies space. I have illustrated in the earlier roadmap also that currently we are working on a few projects like AI for agriculture innovation, and so on. And AI for cancer, how do you improve a lot of the cancer patients using the latest technology? So the era is again shifting from IT to ET. And lastly, from citizen-centric to citizen-driven systems are getting delivered. That the citizen should not only get the service, but the citizen, he or she should be able to take control of the situation and decide. That is the trend with the right to privacy and so many other agency and choice for the citizen. It's very, very important to be taking care of the design of major projects. So citizen centricity to citizen driven projects is what we're seeing increasingly. We have several examples to give of this, which are satisfying the ecosystem, like the health ecosystem or the agriculture digital ecosystem and so on. And similarly, citizen driven, you can see developments like UPI and the projects of that type where the citizen has choice and agency, at the same time protecting the privacy of the data. So these are some of the trends currently happening in the public service delivery. So I stop here and I thank Pragna Bharati for affording me this opportunity to share some of my experiences. Thank you all.